me some ice. Skin me a peach and save the fuzz for my pillow. Poach me a prawns, talk to me nice. You got to wine me and dine me. I'm getting hungry. Peel me a grape.
I'm Laura Bonicelli, and we are cooking with Italian style. It's not always fast, it's not always easy, and it's not always Italian. We use the freshest and finest ingredients that we can find and afford, and we not only savor the meals we make, we savor making them. That is cooking with Italian style. This week, just in time for New Year's Eve, we're making my wild rice, cashew, and almond stuffed mushroom caps. So, let's get cooking. Every holiday season I try to come up with a couple of new appetizers, and this year, because I was working with a lot of grains like wild rice, I was making a pilaf and I thought, oh, I would just love to take this and toss it with some cheese and stuff a mushroom. So that's what we're going to do. It's kind of my take on an old classic. So I'm just getting some thyme leaves together right now, and I'm doing that by just running my fingers backwards down the stem just to pull them off. I need a couple of teaspoons. Great thing about wild rice is it's nice and chewy, and this pilaf has a lot of texture going on and a lot of deep flavor. Okay, just a little more on the thyme, like that. Just a nice rough chop. The leaves are pretty small anyway. So I got everything together to actually start my sauteing, but the first thing I'm going to do is take half a cup of blanched cashews and half a cup of blanched slivered almonds and put them in a toaster oven for at 375 for about 6 to 8 minutes. Then I'm going to get an apron on and we'll start sauteing our mushrooms. I'm heating a couple of tablespoons of olive oil over medium-high heat and adding in a couple of tablespoons of butter. And I can smell those cashews and almonds. You have to really keep your eye on them. They burn pretty easily. I just took them out of the oven. And this is going to melt up nicely. You can see how that's foaming up and just starting to die down, and I can add in my cremini mushrooms. You could use a white mushroom if you wanted to. A cremini is really, or a baby bell, is really a small portobello. And all I did with these is stem them, wipe them clean, just to get the dirt off of them, and then slice them. Now these are going to saute just like this over medium-high heat for about 5 to 6 minutes until you can see how they're becoming this beautiful brown now. And I'm just going to give them a light seasoning, just a little kosher salt, not too much because we're going to do a final seasoning. Cracked pepper. And then I'm going to toss in my green onions. And these I'm going to saute for about a minute. Now here's my 2 teaspoons of thyme leaves, and I'm just going to strew those around enough to make them fragrant, and I can smell that. Just about 30 seconds will do it. And then as soon as that is done, I'm going to cut my heat and put in both rices. Now here's my wild rice. I always cook this a little under. I like it when it has a nice tooth to it. And this is that's 2 cups of rice, by the way, and this is my 2 cups of short grain brown rice. And I cook that in chicken stock, which I love doing because it really gives it a nice additional flavor, but you don't have to do that. You see it still has quite a bit of heat in this pan. And then in goes my parsley and my nuts. Great. Now I'm going to cool this down a little bit. Then we're going to put it in a food processor. I'm just getting this all into my food processor. You know, the great thing about this recipe is it makes a lot. So you can freeze half of it or 3/4 of it and thaw it out the day before. So you have your stuffed mushroom filling for all of your holiday parties. And did you know that wild rice is actually not rice, it's just a grain? So here we are going to put the top on here and pulse this. You don't want to overdo it. You still want some of that texture, but you want to make sure that you get the nuts kind of processed down. I'm going to check it. I think a little more. I've got a couple of nuts there. Need to be pushed down so they reach the blade. but you can see it's got some nice texture still, and this is almost there. I just don't want any whole cashews if I can avoid it. Okay, yep, perfect. Okay, then that just goes right into my bowl, like that. And then we're gonna add 3/4 of a cup of grated Asiago cheese and anywhere between 1/4 of a cup and 1/2 cup of ricotta cheese. And that is going to just bind this together very nicely, like that. Then what I'm going to do is finish this off with a little sea salt. I'll taste it, and a good grind of fresh ground black pepper. And then we'll stuff our mushrooms. So I'm giving this a quick taste. I'm going to give it a little salt. So it's going to give it a nice crunch. Pepper. Great. Toss it all together, and we are ready to go. For our purposes, we are just doing a few mushrooms today. I'm going to be using the rest of this filling parties throughout the week that I have booked for New Year's. So what I'm doing is I'm stemming the mushroom, and then I'm actually peeling it. And this works really well with white mushrooms as well, but I like to do that because it gives it a nice clean edge for putting your stuffing in, like that. Okay, then take a little bit of our stuffing. I use a teaspoon measure. These are small. These are so nice because they're bite size. And form a little ball and place it right in the center of our cleaned mushrooms, like so. So I'll finish up the rest of these, and then I'm going to drizzle them with olive oil and put them in a 400-degree oven for 20 to 25 minutes until the stuffing is really nicely browned and the mushroom is nice and soft. Well, I'll tell you what, these smell like the holidays. Look at that, nice and golden brown. I'm just going to set them right into this little dish. Just perfect for just, you know, like you're having a friend over and you can just pull this out of the fridge and make it. That. And then we're going to finish these off. And this is like this is the perfect way to do it, is with a really good balsamic vinegar. And what I've got here, just be careful on that one. Okay, good. Just space them out a little bit. I've got this wonderful balsamic called Saporoso, and we're just gonna take that and give each one of these a little kiss of balsamic vinegar. Just like that. Look at that, it's just like a syrup almost. It's so thick and fabulous. Yum. Perfecto. I really hope you enjoy making my wild rice, cashew, and almond stuffed mushrooms and cooking with Italian style. If you want this recipe and more, go to solobybonicelli.com and click on the recipe button. Thank you, Park Boutique, so much for the wardrobe. Have a happy new year, and buon appetito!